Hi, I'm Maggie Mestrich, and as Ben so kindly said, I'm here with the Joseph Maley Foundation today. I want to take a minute and brag on Ben just for a moment. Ben works with Main Source Bank, and their first branch in town is located downstairs at the bottom of this building. We host an annual luncheon in this building every year. Actually, sadly, we're moving it because we've outgrown the space. But a couple of years ago, while we were up here, somebody dropped an envelope off to our co-founders, John and Vivian Maley. And it was from Main Source Bank, and it had a very generous donation in it. And they had seen everybody walking in and asked the security officer downstairs, what are all of these people doing here? And he was kind enough to share a little bit of our story, as I'm about to do with you. And they were moved by it, struck by it, and wanted to share in our mission, and have been a great partner for us ever since. So thanks, Ben. We really appreciate it. So, the Joseph Maley Foundation. As Ben noted, we were established in 2008 with the mission to serve children of all abilities. So to that end, we do offer disability awareness programming. We also offer adaptive athletics, and we create leadership and service learning opportunities for children. Our goal is really to create a generation that is passionate about accepting others regardless of ability, race, background, gender orientation, anything. We just want to create a more inclusive community. John and Vivian Maley were Joseph's parents. Joseph had 4 younger brothers. He was born with several disabilities. Apart from that, was diagnosed with leukemia and passed away at the age of 18. So this foundation was the way to carry on Joseph's legacy. Joseph was nonverbal, but he could connect with someone with a look in the eye, a touch of the hand, and really inspired those who met him to accept all regardless of circumstance. He didn't care how you looked, he didn't care how much money you made, he just loved. And so this is our opportunity to carry on that legacy. Joseph's younger brothers had some friends who were asking, Joseph's a little bit different than our other classmates. What's going on there? So Tony, who's the second oldest Maley boy, asked his mom, what can you do? Can you start teaching my friends about Joseph so they understand why he's different? So Vivian started doing some research about what sort of disability awareness programs might be around in Indianapolis or nationwide, what resources are out there. And what was available was not necessarily as dynamic as the classroom environment really necessitates. So she set about with 2 individuals who ended up coming on and joining our board once the foundation was established in creating our disability awareness program. So disability awareness for the Joseph Maley Foundation has actually been around long before the foundation came into being. It was started in 1999. We're in our 16th year of disability awareness. As I mentioned, our mission statement, though, is serving children of all abilities. So while we do have that cornerstone program of disability awareness, which I'll share a little bit more about with you in a moment, we have 9 programs that fall under our umbrella now. So as I mentioned with adaptive athletics and service learning, we're always looking for connections that are going to allow children the opportunity to give back, to look within themselves to see what sort of gifts they have to offer the community, how they can Marlon said, plant some seeds. One of our taglines is planting seeds and growing miracles. That no matter what your situation might be, you have something else to offer. So look within, and what can we do to help give you some of those tools where you can give back and learn from that. So I invite you to visit our website and learn a little bit more about some of our other programs. But with disability awareness, it's a very dynamic and nimble program. Nimble is a word we use a lot to describe our foundation. We're fairly young, as we were just established 7 years ago, but we've been able to do a lot in that time because there are no sacred cows for the Joseph Maley Foundation. We're not afraid to try some different things. So with disability awareness, we oftentimes are used in the school setting, where we have curriculum that aligns with all current Indiana state standards for the Department of Education so that teachers can put this program in place and it doesn't take away from their already very demanding schedules. Children have the opportunity to learn about different disabilities. We have curriculum that goes all the way from preschool through 8th grade. So preschoolers learn, everybody plays, but you might play a little bit differently than my friend plays, and that might be because you have a disability. 2nd graders, their focus is really on visual impairments. So they do an obstacle course where they get to go about some different experiences as if they had a visual impairment and learn things such as pouring a bowl of cereal, getting a cup of water, what it might be like to navigate around a room. So we make these experiences very dynamic. There are books, there are classroom discussions, but we're able to work within the constraints of a school, which makes us pretty unique. We had one school, for example, last year that only had 15 minutes a day that they could devote to disability awareness for a week. So we had a couple days where we would do some demonstrations with some sports teams, some adaptive athletic sports teams, to really get everybody energized and excited about what was going on. We had a day where they would watch some YouTube videos, and we had some discussion questions that the teachers could use. We often encourage car work. So the teachers have materials that they can give the parents afterwards so that the discussion can continue. When you ask that question of, what'd you do in school today, or how was your day, and you get that darn F-word answer of fine, or, not much, the parents have some specific questions that they can ask about the disability awareness program to find out what's been going on. One of the most unique things that supports our disability awareness program is the Kids on the Block puppet troupe. And this is really the opportunity where children are able to teach children and give back. We have a puppet troupe that's comprised of 8th grade students from several local elementary schools. These 8th grade students train with child-sized puppets to teach children awareness and acceptance of all. So it supports our disability awareness program with autism, cerebral palsy, Down syndrome. I'm going to show you a video that'll share a little bit more. It's a lot better to see it than hear me talk about it. But it's the students who go out and they tour local schools or events, other organizations, so that it's not you or I standing up and talking about this because, the eyes glaze over, but it's kids teaching kids with puppets. It's exciting, it's humorous, it's energetic, and it's a great way to affect some change. So I'm going to let the puppets speak for themselves a little on this video.
Gee, Nom, I don't think these names are going to work for a pet.
I'm not trying to pick out a name for a pet, Valerie. I'm trying to pick out a name for me.
You're trying to what?
I'm changing my name. I'm going to pick something that's really American.
You're already American, Nom. Vietnamese American. What's wrong with your Vietnamese name?
Everything. I'm used to having people mispronouncing my name, but it doesn't feel very good when people are laughing about it.
Yeah, I understand. It's not fun when people tease and laugh at you.
The Joseph Maley Foundation is a nonprofit organization that helps with disability awareness and shows that it's okay to be different.
It's not okay to judge somebody by their disabilities.
Just to treat people with all abilities, no matter what, treat them all the same.
It doesn't really matter what disabilities you have. What matters is the abilities.
Back about in 2nd grade, our class came down to see the puppets. I really liked just the puppets and how they were speaking and everything, and kind of what it was about, serving people of all abilities.
I think the puppets are more like cartoons because they have things that catch their eye, like the puppet, how it has different colors and different images.
For someone to tell them something like that, it's easy to just push it aside because they're learning. But when you put the puppets in, it gives them something to watch. It gives them a show, and then they might take something from that.
The script that I'm performing is where you have hearing impairment. I think I'm helping them understand that deaf people, they're just like us. We're just all alike in different ways.
I do a skit called At the Vets, and it's a skit about Down syndrome.
And then I'm talking to Ronaldo, and Ronaldo's blind. He helps me, and he shows me how Braille works.
I'm in New Friends. It's the puppets Mark and Melody, and Mark has cerebral palsy. He's telling them that he can do everything that anyone else without a disability can do. It's just you have to believe in yourself.
It feels good because he knows that you're sending off a message to the next generation.
I just really was inspired by the puppets and what they did. I thought it was so cool.
Makes you feel good because you're helping people make better decisions.
It feels really good. I'm showing them what it's like to have a disability. that all kids are equal, that it just may be a little different.
Their disability is what's showing on the outside, but what's on the inside is more important. Teaching kids about it is a great part of it.
When you learn it young, you'll continue throughout that your whole life knowing it. I feel it's a great thing to teach others about things that are important.
It was a good way to help children and guide them through what they should do around other people when they have disabilities.
It's a great learning experience. It's a great foundation to be a part of, and to know that you're helping out. It's a great feeling.
I just think it puts out a great message, and I like helping with the Joseph Maley Foundation.
We knew about 20 weeks in the pregnancy that there was something different about Cormac. And ultimately got a diagnosis actually before he was born of arthrogryposis.
First year of his life, he was in cast more than he wasn't, at least 9 months, to correct the positioning. As a young mother, your goal is always to make the most for your child and make them as independent as possible. And when you hear things like they may never be able to walk, I think the biggest fear was, where will we be in 10 years, 15 years? What will Cormac's long-term life look like?
When he finally got up and walked on his own for the first time was a pretty monumental thing. It's something that, like I said, you take for granted in an ordinary childhood, but for him it was really amazing after all he'd been through. When you're dealing with this kid that has special needs, you have to kind of realize some of the things you took for granted might not be available to him.
We've just learned to not put any limitations on him, because as long as we don't do that, he does whatever he needs to do to be independent.
And that's one of the great things about the Joseph Maley Foundation, is the opportunity for him to achieve whatever it is he can achieve on his own terms in a group that's supportive to maximize his potential.
We wanted to have a program where we could teach children about the importance of physical fitness in a way that everyone is accepted, everyone has a great time, and we feel like Joseph Maley Fitness does just that.
He does forget his limitations when he's out there, and I think he feels that he is able to keep up with this group, and that this group is there cheering for him, and I think that means a lot to him, and it certainly means a lot to us.
It's extremely challenging as parents, especially as a mother, trying to stay away and trying not to cry when he's going around the whole track.
Okay, buddy.
Good job.
Come here, bud. Nice.
When we have children come into our fitness programs, we don't focus on what someone can't do. We focus completely on their ability. Our volunteers and our mentors, our buddies, they make our program. They serve as the role models for our kids. Not only are they serving our participants, but these runner mentors, they're getting served just as much.
When Cormac really gets into what he's doing, and when everything just seems to go away and he's just performing like all the other kids and just having a good time, I think that's the whole point of the program, to show you that your disabilities aren't always there and you can overcome them if you just have the right mindset. Sports have always been there for me, and the opportunity to help other people participate in those is one of the great things about the Joseph Maley Foundation.
Think of the way that these kids' lives are going to be different at school. They're more confident. They have stories to share about their sporting events from the weekend, just like their friends at school do.
We witnessed your hesitant first steps, and we gazed in wonder when that walk became a determined run. Your perseverance and spirit of wild abandon inspire us each day and affirm that the little boy with the small hands and the big eyes is indeed a superhero in disguise. You put the wind in win some, lose some. You put the star in starting over. And in spite of all the trials, you step boldly out of the phone booth and soar into the great unknown. You, my son, were born to fly.
Okay, so it's hard to follow up those kids even though they're not here in person. It's a pretty remarkable group with what they're able to do. So our goal is to really engender this next generation with compassion and respect for the diversity of life. And to have this puppet troupe is one of the best ways that we've been able to do that. And I don't know if you noticed in the opening, the skit wasn't actually about disabilities. That's one we do on multiculturalism. So while Kids on the Block really supports our disability awareness program, we offer curriculum where our kids can go out and teach younger children about multiculturalism, bullies in school safety, bereavement, childhood cancer. We really cover quite a spectrum with that. And it's one of our biggest initiatives this year to help really continue to grow this program. So I would be remiss to be in this environment and not do a little bit of an ask of some sort. As business people, I think you guys can respect when there are opportunities that are a little bit unique that kind of fall into your lap to help you grow what you're doing. And this year, the Joseph Maley Foundation is in a nonprofit fundraising tournament. It's called Brackets for Good. Has anybody heard of Brackets for Good before? Okay. It's our second year competing. This year, we've actually made it all the way to the final. So 64 nonprofits were selected. They do Selection Sunday. It's just like March Madness with basketball. Last year, we got knocked out in the Sweet 16 round, but this year, we've made it for the final. Nonprofits have the opportunity to compete for $10,000. $10,000 could do an unreal amount of good for the Joseph Maley Foundation. Just one example, it could support the operations for our facility for 2 months and then a little bit extra as well. So we've been pitted one-on-one in matchups throughout this tournament, which began at the end of February. The team that earns the most points moves on to the next round. $1 equals 1 point. And all nonprofits keep all donations that are made in their name at bracketsforgood.org. So far we have raised quite a bit of money, but we really want that opportunity for the grand prize. This round, this championship round, closes this Friday, tomorrow, at 7:59 p.m. There's a shot clock on the website that ticks down. Our initiative with this is that every little bit really counts and makes a difference at the Joseph Maley Foundation. There are cards on your table that we just put out there. Our push this time for this round is score 25. Joseph would have been 25 years old on July 6th of this year. So 25 is a particularly special number to us right now, but your $25 could do quite a bit. There's some examples listed. For one, it could give an athlete with disabilities a scholarship to participate in our inclusive running club this summer. This one's not listed on your card. It could outfit one of those 8th grade troop members for Kids on the Block so that they could join the troop. It supplies a classroom with the materials necessary to participate in the disability awareness curriculum. So $25 has quite a big impact. There are instructions for how to contribute to Brackets for Good on the back. You just go to the website, you click the box next to our name, and you go for that. So your donation, your $25, scoring 25, could equate to an additional $10,000 for us. So that's quite a return on investment, I would say. So I'd like to invite our Executive Director, Vivian, up if there are any questions. She can help with the Q&A. Ready? Yes. Yes. Okay. You're experienced with this. I like it. So as this gentleman so kindly pointed out, there's a lot of strategy that has to go with Brackets for Good. As you want your donor pool to kind of help you make it to the end of each round, there's a lot that happens at the end within the last 15 minutes. So if you are to go on and register at the website and make a donation, you can elect to do a buzzer beater, which automatically doubles your contribution, but it doesn't hit the total until the last 15 minutes. So you don't know what that other group might have in their hopper waiting with the buzzer beater. Our last round, we were against the formidable Girls Incorporated, wonderful organization. One of the things we really like about this tournament, we actually work with quite a few of the nonprofits. I mentioned our service learning program. We provide students to go out and serve for a day with local nonprofits. We really want to talk with you guys about how we can potentially collaborate. So it's friendly competition. We really like because we get to learn about some different organizations and establish relationships with them for Service Day. So Girls Inc., they had some $1,000 buzzer beaters going at the very last minute on Tuesday night, which was a little bit nutty. This round, we're against the Humane Society for Hamilton County. They have raised over $80,000 so far in Brackets for Good. So we are definitely the underdog against them, but hopefully you guys can help us out just a little bit.